Evergrande's founder and boss got arrested. What is the political reason behind this? And China's number 2 man, Premier Li Qiang, had his wife and daughter's information leaked. Someone is on the offensive against Xi Jinping's faction. Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. So I asked you guys on YouTube, what would you like to see covered today between Li Qiang's family information leaked and the boss of Evergrande arrested? And it turns out they're pretty close. And upon closer inspection of the two topics, I actually found something related to them both. So we're going to cover both. Now, I'll be doing these polls regularly, so make sure to check them out in the community section and comment below your thoughts, as well as comment on each of the videos that I release. If you have any questions, I'm always checking these comments as well as answering them. Like this one here, from Melvin Jensen. Is there any reason you still call it the 9-dash line and not the 10-dash line? Well, Melvin, great question. Neither the 9 or the 10-dash line are legally binding, so they're just the CCP's aggressive boundaries that are meant to take from other countries. Calling it 10, 20, 30-dash line only give more agency to the CCP. 9-dash line is more commonly known, so I just said it there. But the real situation, as I address later in that video, is that they've introduced another line, and it's still illegal, it's still the CCP. So thank you for the great question. And make sure to leave a comment below in this video if you have any questions on China. All right, let's get to today's topic. So I started digging around and I found that everything's related, right? There's a big power struggle scheme here. So let's begin with the story of Evergrande's boss and chairman. His name is Xu Jiayin. Now, by this point, he's got most of his wealth outside of China, and his family has it, not him. He's an empty skeleton, and the CCP is just trying to dangle him around to see if he's got any pocket change or some sort of assets or solution to this whole situation. But the arrest really won't change the whole situation with Evergrande, and the real estate sector in China is still doomed. Now, the number one rule of everything that happens in China is that everything is a political problem. And so it begs the question, why arrest him now and maybe not 6 months ago or maybe 2 years ago? Well, it turns out Xu had been under close watch by the Xi government since at least half a year ago. After all, arresting the boss of Evergrande is bound to send shockwaves across Wall Street and beyond. But now the situation has changed. Xu clearly can't pay back what he owes. Maybe he's like an empty skeleton with nothing on him. He's moved all his assets overseas. What does the CCP want from him? To offer more solutions? To give up his... I don't know. Anyways, Xu Jiayin knows it, the CCP knows it, and most of China knows it. It's a deadlock situation. Now, Evergrande is a time bomb, and it's waiting to blow up. It's the world's most indebted developer with more than $300 billion in total liabilities, and has been at the center of an unprecedented liquidity crisis in the property sector. And again, China's real estate counts for 30% of its overall economy. Its continuous failing of restructuring plans, which means that this whole thing is going to get doomed very soon. And so maybe, just maybe for 2 years, the CCP could have used these fancy words to buy some time until it figured out what to do with Evergrande. But now it seems the country has clearly made up its mind. Evergrande will fall, and it no longer needs to hide that fact from the rest of the world, or to hide it from the Chinese people who are poor people who bought into Evergrande thinking that it was going to be a wonderful finished home for them. Of course, they need to give a final answer on all of this, but the idea is that now we just pin the blame on the founder and the likes of him, these greedy capitalists. Now, Evergrande founder and chairman Xu Jiayin, he's no longer needed to be here. And so now you could say that prior to his arrest, the Evergrande problem was an economic one. But although there's no economic problems in China, it's all political, this arrest is a watershed moment. From this point on, that economic problem has become a political one. From my perspective, this is a Xi Jinping attack against the faction that controls finances and real estate in China, and that is the Zhang and the Zhang family. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if the official designation of the Evergrande situation going forward is one of failing the people's wish for the real estate industry, failing the trust and confidence of the Chinese people. She's going to pin the blame on the enemies, which, again, they control the finance and the real estate sector, pin it as problematic, and it deserves to be investigated for corruption. And that these people, right, the leaders of the real estate sector, they're all really greedy people. But before we go on further, let me just do my 1-minute sponsorship video. And if this product interests you, please watch it and check out the product shop, as it will help to keep this channel going. And if not, just skip ahead. Now, all the products that I recommend here have been tested by me personally, and if they feel great, that's why I'm willing to share it. And so today, Blueberry Shop has introduced a new product called Cloud No-Show Socks. Now, I've got a pair here with me, and you can see that it's a very comfortable, stretchy socks, and I've worn it for about a day now. Now, I never tend to wear no-show socks because they always slip into the shoes, and they get jumbled up. It's very uncomfortable, right? You know what I'm talking about if you ever worn them. But these, they're made with the shape of your feet in mind so that there's really no stretching involved. And so it just hugs your feet. It really feels like you're walking on cloud. And it's very comfortable. And so I recommend them. But they come in this beige color, there's black color, dark gray, there's different colors and different sizes. There's 4 sizes. So it goes really well with your loafers, sneakers, and even boots if you ever run out of socks to wear like I'm doing today. So Cloud themselves, they never do discounts on these, but with Blueberry, my sponsor here, they're gonna do a bundle. So you'll get 7 pairs for $64. Now it's a 5-pair combo, the bundle, but you get 2 more pairs for free. And definitely recommend you check out this product. Now, we do the 15% if you use my discount code or check out the link in the description, and you get free shipping in the US if you spend $70 or more. All right, we'll continue our video now. So Xu Jiayin got his rise in the real estate industry through Hong Kong. In 1996, he started Hengda, which later would be called Evergrande, in Guangzhou, which is next to Hong Kong. And the year is 2009, Xu Jiayin took Evergrande public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. How did he do it? Well, with the help of Hong Kong business tycoons. He got acquainted with them in a card game club. Now, Hong Kong business tycoons love to play a card game called Big Two, and their club nickname was Big D Club. Yeah, funny, right? Okay, so it's here that Xu Jiayin got acquainted with the right people, helping him to launch Evergrande Public. And it began the domination in the Chinese real estate industry, from Big D Club to going public in Hong Kong. What's next? Well, then, what took Xu Jiayin further to success, first, initially, it was the business people, then he needed the political backing. So at the time in Hong Kong, the man who ran the city, his name was Zhang Faction. Now, I always say that to do business in China, you need political backings. The bigger the business, the bigger the political backing must be. So remember Zung Faction, right? Head of the Zung Faction. Well, the man who allegedly told Xi Jinping off at their summer retreat, this Zung Faction is his younger brother. And so this is the Zung Faction we're talking about here. Since 1997, when Hong Kong returned to China, the Zung family and their allies, the Zhang Faction, they've run Hong Kong until 2019. The influence over Hong Kong's finances, underground gang activities, policing, and its citywide entertainment industry, they were all a part of the CCP's control under Zeng Qinghai. So I back in the days did a video on the murder of Abby Choi. Check out that video, I'll link it here if you want to know a bit more about the Hong Kong scene. Essentially, the CCP was above all the crimes, money laundering, the mafias listening to the CCP. You have the police under the command of the CCP. Anyway, so Evergrande's boss, Xu Jiayin, was introduced to Zeng Qinghai, and with the backing of the Zeng family, his business skyrocketed in China. Now, it comes to the end, right? Zeng and Zhang faction, they're now locked in a power struggle with Xi Jinping, and as we speak, the Evergrande's boss served as a longtime white glove or middleman for Zeng's family, and he's now becoming the fall guy for the family. And of course, there are multiple other factors involved with Evergrande, with the ticking time bomb, with Country Garden, another real estate developer. I've done a few videos on that, and I'll link it here. It's clear that Xu Jiayin is prepared, though, to take the fall. And in exchange, he gets to ensure that his family lives on his $6 billion wealth overseas. So he's done many things to prepare for that. He's divorced his wife, so her finances are split, and that amount of money is safe with her overseas. And Xu knows that the CCP won't be able to claw back much from those for the $300 billion in liabilities for Evergrande, and so it's a loss for the CCP either way. Now it's just which political faction can get the best out of it. And this is bound to send shockwaves across the world, right? Not only is Evergrande's sheer size of problems going to impact the global economy, it's also a sign that the 2 years since its collapse, they've given enough time for the regime to decide what to make of this. State intervention, let it fall, and all sorts of things going forward. But it's been rumored that Xu Jiayin has been watched closely for 6 months and that he was just arrested a few days ago. However, Bloomberg cited an anonymous source saying that he's just under house arrest by Chinese police with his personal freedom restricted. To be honest, these people, they have their arrangements outside of China from the get-go. And I was talking to my friend who went to jail in China for 10 years for believing in practicing for a meditation exercise. He told me that while he was in prison, he had spoken with a few CCP officials who got jailed for corruption. The first thing they do after they get money is to set up their ways out of China, especially getting arrangements for their family members to go out. And they know that the worst outcome for financial crimes in China is life term in prison, so no death sentence. And they usually have it reduced down to about 10 years or so, and that's after a few years. So these people view prison as a temporary retirement because they can bribe the prison guards, they can get treated really well. They won't suffer in prison. So the worst scenario is that they get caught and they spend a decade behind bars. That's it. They told my friend that why wouldn't you as a CCP official want to graft or take bribes? It's absolutely absurd for us, right? But to them, it's perfectly normal. It's crazy. In other words, be corrupt, get billions of dollars, take them out of China, land yourself behind bars, come out and retire. That seems to be the formula for these rich people in China. Now, obviously, it's not the first time China has done something to put billionaires behind bars, or the first time they've disappeared someone who is rich enough to have influence, right? Jack Ma, Bao Fang, they've all disappeared. Jack Ma was allowed to return, but you clearly see he's behaving so differently now. It's not a problem for the CCP to punish these rich people. And their own rules is to not allow non-party influence to trump that of the party itself. And every single time, it's always the political power struggles behind the scenes that matter. So Zung's family and Xi's faction, they're locked in a power struggle. And now, speaking of Jack Ma, it leads to our second topic. Premier Li Qiang's close relationship with Jack Ma is drawing a lot of attention, and it may be that Xi Jinping landed a punch by taking out Evergrande's boss from the Zung Faction, but they've returned fire. China's Premier Li Qiang has just had his family information leaked online. There's his wife's name, daughter's name, and son-in-law's names, and their work. Now, there are photos. Believe me, details are ugly. They're really un-communist-like. Just like Qinggang and Li Shangfu, the defense minister, and the foreign minister, the details here are enough to cause their downfall. But again, that's never the direct reason for their removal. Xi's anti-corruption will always find it back to bite him. It seems like Li Qiang is targeted by Xi's enemies over his moral issues and corruption issues. Now, what are the details? Well, for one, Li Qiang's daughter is married to a foreigner from Scotland. And that Li Qiang, using his influence as the former party boss of Shanghai, ran many businesses in China. Oh no, the second top man, right? Second in command in China has a foreign son-in-law. What about the Chinese dream? What about the rising East falling West? Isn't it the CCP that always says to reject Western thinking, and yet the daughter of Li Qiang is married to a foreigner? Not only that, Li Qiang has corrupt business dealings. This is like the perfect formula for anti-corruption. How could he possibly survive? We know that Li Qiang is Xi's most loyal servant. If they can bring down Li Qiang, then it's a crushing blow to Xi. And now Li Qiang we know as the number one yes man to Xi and the premier of China. He's supposed to be the one looking after the Chinese economy. Sure, he's done some stuff in Shanghai, but these are not really economic issues. During the Shanghai lockdown, Li Qiang immediately ordered all city activities to stop, and it caused widespread death and humanitarian problems. His political loyalty will always come first, and comes before the economic policies. Like Qinggang and Li Shangfu, it's really not about the loyalty issue, but rather it's the corruption that they're going to use to pressure Xi, right? So where does Jack Ma fit into all this? Well, according to internet sources, Jack Ma is very close to Li Qiang's wife, and they have business investments together. There's movie studios, stock markets, nucleic acid, COVID testing companies, and much more. And Xi Jinping hates Jack Ma. So maybe he's in a dilemma right now. But also, allegedly, Li Qiang's daughter is Xi Jinping's goddaughter. There's a lot of ties here. It's a very complicated problem. That's why it's hard for Xi to solve. But the question is, will Xi's enemy use this as a justification saying that Xi has a double standard? The mission of Xi's enemy is clear. Remove all loyal subjects around Xi. Isolate him and force him to step down. If Xi Jinping comes after the finance, real estate sectors, those that belong to the anti-Xi forces, well, then the enemies are going to come after Xi's own people, right? Corruption problems, they all have that. Will Xi Jinping just sit around and ignore it and pretend like Li Qiang is immune to this? So next step, we'll watch what happens to him. Li Qiang, that is. All right, that's the date for the episode on how Evergrande's boss is arrested and what that means politically, as well as Li Qiang's family information leaking. What does that mean for Xi Jinping and the ongoing power struggle? All right, I'm David Zhang. This is China Insider. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts or questions on this topic, and subscribe to our channel. All right, until next time, bye-bye.